GHAZAL poem. A ghazal is a form of lyric poetry originating in Arabic and Persian traditions, typically dealing with themes of love, loss, and longing, and characterized by a specific structure of couplets and a recurring rhyme of refrain. The ghazal emerged in 7th century Arabia and gained prominence in the 13th and 14th century, particularly in Persian literature with poets like Rumi and Hafiz. Next is facts about ghazal. So the length of ghazal is minimum of 10 lines and the stanzas must be a couplet, and then the metrical requirements is all lines must have the same number of syllables, and then the rhyme scheme is both lines of the first couplet end with the same word. So this word also ends line 4, 6, 8 and etc. must be an even number. So the word preceding the repeating word follows a different rhyme scheme. The ghazal pronounced like ghazal, like A is pronounced of U, has a long and complex history migrating throughout Africa, Asia, and the Middle East in its 1,400-year history. So the earliest ghazals date back to 7th century Arabia, shortly after the Islamic Caliphate was formed. Ghazals are romantic and tragic in nature, a tradition which many contemporary poets uphold.
Now let's proceed to the general rules for writing a ghazal. So the ghazal's form and function varies somewhat between culture, but the general rules for writing a ghazal are the following. So first, every line must have the same number of syllables. So it's your choice to choose how many syllables each line will contain. So for example, you have 5, 7, 10, or 12 syllables per line. But always remember that you must stick to that number for every single line in the poem. Next is each stanza must be a couplet. So the poem is structured into stanzas, and each stanza always contains exactly 2 lines. Next is there must be a minimum of 5 couplets. So your poem needs at least 5 of these 2-line stanzas. So that means a minimum of 10 lines in total. Next is the first and second line of the poem end with the same word called the radif. So for example, if you choose ocean as your radif, both lines in your couplet would end with ocean. Then next is even numbered lines like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. also ends with the radif. So this simply means that the radif word must appear at the end of every second line in your poem. Next one is the word before the radif must also rhyme. It cannot rhyme with the radif, and the same word cannot be used twice. So this word is called the kafiya. So the word that comes right before the radif in each line is the kafiya. So these kafiya words must rhyme within each couplet, but they can't rhyme with the radif. So furthermore, you can't repeat a kafiya word anywhere else in your poem. And last one, each couplet must operate independently and as a whole. The couplet can stand alone as a poem, and it can form a larger poem, much like pearls on a string forming a necklace. So each 2-line stanza can be understood on its own, but they also work together to create a larger story or idea.
Still in the shadow. The heart beats in silence, yet drowns in the way of its chain, still. Unseen are the wounds that whisper of sorrow and pain, still. The echoes of past regrets had lingered like ghosts in my chest. They dance in the gap where my memories struggle in vain, still. I bury my grief behind laughter, a mask I would perfect. However, shadow beneath a smile, soft murmur my sin, still. The night holds my secrets, the moon is my sole companion, yet stars blink indifferently towards mocking my strain, still. I long for release thereby, yet silence has caged me in fear. The echoes of cries suppressed remain my comfort domain, still. Oh fate, just let me breathe, hoping sorrow will blown by the wind. Yet we've come this far to realize suppressed pain remain still. So we chose this kind of theme for our poem, though it might sound bitter for some, but we just want to capture the silent struggles that many people endure, hiding their pain behind a mask of laughter and strength, like most people do. So our poem speaks of the way of the past regrets, the loneliness of unspoken sorrow, and the feeling of being trapped within one's own emotions. The recurring word still, because there's so much word still in our poem, emphasizes how despite attempts to move forward, the pain lingers, refusing to be erased. That no matter how much you try to forget the pain, to neglect the pain, or to try to open up, you cannot just simply erase it. For us, it resonates as a reflection of the unseen battles we fight daily, the fears we suppress, and the hope for release that sometimes feel out of reach. Because sometimes we tend to get scared of going out of our comfort, or to open up to people, to express what we really feel, because we are scared that we might get misunderstood, or people might misjudge us of who we really are, because not everyone truly understand us. So the moon as a silent confidant and the stars are indifferent observers highlights the loneliness of suffering in silence. As people as we are, we tend to like watch the stars over, the moon over, and we sometimes like express what we felt to them. Like we just look up at the heaven and say everything to the moon and stars, despite knowing that we can't even get answers to them. But the feeling of hoping that at least we are not, no matter what we rant to them, we are not misunderstood, we are not judged, because like I said, they can't give answers, they can't talk back. Yet beneath the sorrow, there's a quiet resilience, a will to endure even when healing feels distant. It's a reminder that while pain may remain, so does the strength to carry on. Because actually, there's a quote that I love the most. Is that it is stated there that we need to feel the pain in order for us to know that we are still alive, or we are still living. Because sometimes we tend to become more numb because of the pain that we have endured, too much pain. But actually, it is also, if we look at the good side, it is also a good reminder that we have to go on, to carry on, because we are still alive, and the life we have is still worthy, is still worth it. So this poem does not only signifies or highlight the concept of pain, suppressed pain, but also to encourage, or to give or to instill knowledge to everyone that despite the pain you have felt, there's also a will, or there's also a courage or strong within you that you have to carry on and continue do what you should do, because it does not only signifies of being in a shadow forever, but also it highlights the idea of facing the battles every step of the way until you get to find the true meaning of life, or until you get the courage to finally open up to someone, or to finally embrace your true self, your imperfections, because the life does not always goes the way we want it, but it reflects of how we see imperfections as perfect.